we're going to be talking about the application process as well as the web-based interview. We're going to put all of our phone interview tips and tidbits in another video because yeah, we got a lot to say about the phone interview. But we're just going to talk about those two components of the application process.
So basically, you start your college program journey by filling out the application once they drop. For the spring program, they're probably going to come out sometime in late August. That's when they came out for us. I can't make any promises because I am not Disney and I don't make any real life decisions, but that's probably when they're going to come out. And basically, it's just like any other job application. You cannot upload a resume. However, they do have little module type things where you can type in all your work experience and volunteer experience. And then that is also the place where you're going to specify what roles you have interest in. So they range from high to low to no interest. And you basically go through all the roles that they have to offer and kind of pick and choose what you would like.
And we strongly recommend that you write down exactly what it was that you said for each of your roles. So if you put high interest in lifeguarding and low interest in quick service food and beverage, just take a note of that because it might come up later in your interview process that, you know, you might just want to be able to reference what you had actually said. And also kind of take note of what the specific job duties were when you clicked on those roles, because those are going to really help you kind of sell yourself when you're interviewing, just saying that you know exactly what's expected of you and that you can fulfill those requirements.
Another tip we have for the application is to not put high interest in every single role that they have to offer, because you could put high interest in being a character attendant. They might not even mention it in your phone interview or ask you a single question about it, but you could still end up getting that as a role. So if you truly do not want to do something, put no interest and just be honest, because you don't want to get down, we're from the north. You don't want to get to Florida or to California and not like your role because you just wanted to get accepted and put high interest in all of the roles that they had to offer. Just be honest and make sure, like she said, to kind of take note of the range of interest that you put, because if they ask you a question about something you put low interest in on your phone interview, you can say, oh, although I put low interest in X, I love whatever. You get the point.
Yeah. And another important thing to note about the application, because this question has come up on my Tumblr a couple of times, there is no place to upload a cover letter.
Wrong lever, Kronk. That's staying in.
But yeah, you cannot upload a cover letter to your application, and as far as I know, there is no place to mail a cover letter. It's really not an important aspect of your application. They're not looking for it, they're not expecting it, and it really is not going to hurt your chances if you do not write one. So I promise you're gonna be fine. It has come up multiple times, and I just wanted to make that point because I know a lot of people have asked about it.
So after you've submitted your application, after a certain amount of time, you will receive an email as to whether or not you're invited to participate in the web-based interview. There's no specific amount of time that people wait. It could be a week, it could be 5 minutes after you submitted your application. There's really no rhyme or reason. It doesn't mean a thing as to your chances to getting in the college program. However, in some cases, people are stuck in submission, and you'll probably hear that a lot if you're a part of any of the Facebook groups during the application process. But being stuck in submission means that you are not invited to participate in the web-based interview, and that is Disney's decision. I really don't know what makes them choose that, but yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the application process begins as a giant waiting game. You know, you're waiting for the applications to drop, then you're waiting to hear if you're gonna do your web-based interview. However, luckily, if you get to the web-based interview, as soon as you're done with that, you know whether or not you're moving on to the phone interview.
Which is very frightening because there's no like finish button. It's just next after one of the questions that you answered, and then it's like, hello,
phone interview, or thank you for your time.
The web-based interview is a bunch of questions that are basically rated from strongly agree to strongly disagree, and then there is neutral as an option in the middle. And it's basically questions about how you would act in certain situations in the workplace, as well as questions about your character. And I know that sounds intense, but it's just like, are you punctual? Do you work well with others, etc. Normal questions that you would be asked on a job interview.
Yeah. And I feel like it's really important to note they are timed questions, but you do have enough time to answer all of them. I promise. And if you don't answer one, it's still possible you're gonna get in, because that's what happened to me. Because I'm not the brightest cast member in Walt Disney World, and I did not know what one of the words meant. I don't remember what the word was either. So that just really says something about me. But just make sure that you take the time to read each question, because you will have the time to read each question thoroughly and make up your mind. And as long as you're being honest and truthful and not just trying to answer the questions the way you think that your recruiter wants you to answer them, then you're going to be absolutely fine.
You're going to notice that there's going to be kind of repeat questions that are phrased differently, such as, are you always on time? Are you ever late? They're not trying to trick you. They're just trying to make sure that you're being honest in all of your answers and not just trying to tell them what you think that they'd like to hear. So that's going to happen. It's totally fine. Don't worry. And also make sure you take it in a place with a reliable internet.
Yeah.
Because in the middle of mine, the web page just stopped and I must have fallen to the floor. I was like, this is it. This is the end. I'm not getting in. I'm sorry. That's how I felt, and it was all okay.
The pain.
The pain that I felt that day, it was just inflicted upon her. But do not take it on your phone. If you can avoid taking it on a laptop, I would suggest that. If you're at school, go to your library or a computer lab, just somewhere where you know everything will go smoothly. Yeah. Make sure it's quiet, and just take your time reading the questions. It's really not as difficult or as scary as you think it is. They're all kind of just questions that you answer pretty quickly.
So
the only real tip I have for the web-based interview that I've heard from other cast members as well is to kind of avoid from putting neutral as much as possible. They want you to be strong in your opinions and your beliefs, so if you put strongly agree or strongly disagree for most of them, I've heard that is better. Do not quote me on that because I'm not positive. The web-based interview, there's no real tips. It's kind of just be yourself and you'll do fine.
Yeah. So if you'd like to check out any of the other videos in this sort of informational series, we have links to them in the down bar, and have a magical day.